What's up, everybody? It's Jordan, and welcome to the Sports Dude Hines Show. We are only 8 days away from the NFL draft. Absolutely crazy that we are. The NFL draft is creeping on us so quickly, and we are only 8 days away. It does not seem like it at all. So, in this video, I'm kind of going to be doing two Bengals mock drafts here. One I have a trade in the first round, and one I don't. I'm going to be kind of comparing the differences, which mock draft could be better if we decide to trade back, which honestly I think is a real possibility and needs to be talking about a lot more than opposed that we don't trade back. We're going to go ahead and do the non-trade back one first. So let's go ahead and get started here with this first Bengals second-round mock draft. With the Bengals' first-round selection, they choose Boston College guard Zion Johnson. To me, I know some Bengals fans like Zion Johnson quite a bit, but in my opinion, I kind of did this just trying to be a little bit different. In my opinion, the only offensive lineman I'm taking in the first round is Tyler Linderbaum. I think he's the most proven. He's easily the best interior offensive lineman who's going to be possibly available at 31. So to me, I'm definitely taking Tyler Linderbaum here over Johnson, but we want to mix it up a little bit. Johnson, I don't think would be bad. With Johnson playing, if we ended up drafting Johnson, he would play guard, and Ted Karras would play center. But if we drafted Linderbaum, that might change. But Johnson, to me, some people like it, some people don't. I'm just kind of hesitant about this team drafting offensive linemen early. We've seen in the past, Cedric Ogbuehi, he was a first-round pick. He was a major bust. Billy Price, major bust. He was a first-round pick. Jake Fisher was a second-round pick. He was a bust. You look at so many of these people. Honestly, Jackson Carman was a second-round pick. I'm not going to call him a bust yet, but he hasn't lived up to that second-round potential that we drafted him, him being in the second round. You really have to go back about a decade for the Bengals the last time they drafted a good offensive lineman. Jonah Williams, like it or not, he's missed 22 games the first two seasons. He's not nearly as good as people thought he would be at this point in his career so far. And he was another, first-round offensive lineman. So to me, I kind of get why people want us to get an offensive lineman, but I'm just kind of hesitant because we've seen in the past, more often than not, the Bengals tend to screw up offensive linemen in the first round. As we continue here with a second-round pick for the Bengals, I have them taking Cincinnati corner Coby Bryant. And I know, Cincinnati fans would love this pick here. I think this has a decent chance of happening if we don't take a corner in round one. Coby Bryant is a former Jim Thorpe Award winner, and everybody loves to talk about Sauce Gardner, the corner from Cincinnati. But nobody really talks about Coby Bryant, which is crazy to me because, he is extremely underrated, and he doesn't really get the credit he deserves. It's interesting because we look at, big boards throughout, Pro Football Network, PFF, and different, mock draft simulations. I've seen Coby Bryant be gone by 63 on, some mock draft simulations, but I've also seen some mock drafts where Coby Bryant is still available with our third-round pick, 95th pick overall. So it's very interesting. Maybe the Bengals trade back with their second-round pick into the early third and get Coby Bryant there. I don't think that'd be a bad idea. But Coby Bryant here in a second, to me, I think is a phenomenal value pick here for the Bengals. Some people might say it's a little bit of a reach, but I might disagree with that. I think he's still one of the better players available here with the 63rd pick overall. As we continue here in the third round, I had them taking Ohio State tight end Jimmy Ruckert. I think this makes a lot of sense. If we have yet to address tight end in the first two rounds, which we're not going to address tight end in the first round, there's pretty much a 0 chance that happens. But if Jimmy Ruckert's available with the 95th pick overall, I feel very confident that the Bengals end up taking him. Look at the Bengals throughout the years taking Ohio State players. They've drafted Ohio State players more than any other, players from a certain school. Joe Burrow played at Ohio State, Von Bell, Sam Hubbard, Eli Apple. Those are just current players right now. You can have a whole list of players who used to play for Ohio, who play for the Bengals, who used to play at Ohio State, in their collegiate career. I think this makes a lot of sense. Jimmy Ruckert is used to the 12 personnel, two tight ends on the field at the same time. We've ran that quite a bit this past often with Drew Sample and CJ Uzama. And I know some people might say, well, we might not need a tight end this early. Hayden Hurst and Hayden Hurst and Drew Sample both are only on 1-year deals. and we do not have a proven tight end. Hayden Hurst had a good season the past year or so with Atlanta, but I mean, he's brand new to the system. Drew Sample has been a major bust, and I'm pretty much just counting down the days till he leaves Cincinnati. Like, we need to get another tight end for this team, and I think getting Jimmy Ruckert here in the third round will be very good for the Bengals. As we continue here in the fourth round, I had them getting another Ohio State player. You know, it's interesting. I did the 2 mock drafts. I did not really pay attention to see how many Ohio State players I took in this mock draft. I took multiple Ohio State players on both sides of the ball in this mock draft. But in the fourth round, I had them taking Ohio State defensive tackle Haskell Garrett. I really like this pick here. Haskell Garrett was somebody I was really wanting the Bengals to get last season in the draft, up until he announced he was coming back for the Buckeyes for another season. But we could still use some help at defensive tackle. I know we re-signed BJ Hill, but we probably lost Ogunjobi. He's a free agent right now. Maybe he comes back. Since he failed that physical with the Chicago Bears. But to me, I think getting Haskell Garrett here with the 136 pick overall in the fourth round would be tremendous value here for the Bengals. And around these fourth round, fifth round, even sixth round, there's multiple defensive players I like quite a bit. And this is actually another Ohio State player here in the fifth round. Same side of the ball, and that is Tyreke Smith, the Ohio State edge rusher. I think we get just a little bit more edge help. We don't need somebody who's going to be, taking snaps away from Hubbard or Hendrickson. But I think just getting an extra body, I don't think bad at all. We got a side back, coming back from injury. But maybe getting an edge rusher in the fifth round or so, fourth, fifth, I would not mind that at all. And I think Tyreke Smith here would be a really good pickup here for the Bengals in the fifth round. As we continue here in the sixth round, this is one of my favorite draft prospects that nobody is talking about, and that is Middle Tennessee State safety Reed Blakenship. I'm a big fan of Marshall. Marshall played in Conference USA for many, many years, and they played against Middle Tennessee every single season. Anytime, Marshall played Middle Tennessee, you would hear Reed Blankenship's name, called. It would seem like 15 to 20 times a game. Anytime you watch Middle Tennessee, you're going to hear Reed Blankenship's name so many different times. He is all over the field. He's a tremendous safety. He's going to get you tackles, force fumbles, interceptions. One of the most underrated safeties, one of the most underrated players in all of the draft. I think he's going to go in the 6th or 7th round. And pretty much every single mock draft simulation I do, if he's there in the 6th or 7th round, I pretty much grab him every single time because I think he could add tremendous value to this Bengals secondary. Because looking at it here, Von Bell and Jesse Bates are both free agents 1 year from now. So I think getting some more safety help is a must-need for the Bengals. So Middle Tennessee safety Reed Blakenship, I think would be a phenomenal, diamond in the rough type of player here in the 6th round. The Bengals have 2 7th-round picks. The other 7th-round pick that they got was in the trade that they traded Billy Price to the New York Giants, and they received BJ Hill and a 7th-round pick. Clearly, we robbed the New York Giants so much in that trade here. But looking at it here, let's see here. Ball Media Productions, get best player available, no reaching. There's work, and people will need to chill. Yeah, I would agree with that. To me, I'm always a best player available type of guy over a team need. Look at, when we drafted Billy Price. When we drafted Billy Price in the first round several years ago, he was not best player available. He was a team need, and we reached for a team need. We could have traded back 6-7 spots, got this extra mid-round pick, and still got him. And unfortunately for us, we reached, and he did not pan out at all for the Cincinnati Bengals. But looking at here in the 7th round, I have them getting a punter here in the 7th round. Georgia punter Jake Camarda. The Cincinnati Bengals fans, we really need to stop, focusing and fixating on punters. I would have no issue of the Bengals drafting the punter in the 7th round. Anything earlier than the 7th round to me is absolutely ridiculous. Because when you see Bengals fans, I saw somebody say a week or so ago that the Bengals should draft a punter in the 4th or 5th round. That is absolutely ludicrous. It is absolutely insane and just plain out stupid in my opinion. Because when you look at the Bengals offense, and Bengal fans, think that we have one of the best offenses in the NFL, which is true. If we have a great offense, then why do we desperately need a punter so bad? Like, yeah, we have, Drew Chrisman, from Ohio State, who could possibly be, our starting punter. But we don't desperately need a punter that, need to get one in the 4th or 5th round. To me, that's absolutely insane. That's crazy. I mean, do you know Atkins was a 4th round pick? Are you going to pass up a talented guy who could possibly be, one of your best defensive players on your team for the next several seasons? Instead, get a punter? Like, that is crazy to me. But I have one getting here in the 7th round. I have no issue getting a punter in the 7th. Anything other than the 7th, I would have a major issue with here. And I know lots of people talk about the punter from San Diego State, but I think, Georgia punter Jake Camarda, I think that is going to be our punter if we would draft one, because something else to look at, he's very good friends with Bengals kicker Evan McPherson. They've played golf a lot, on Instagram. They post with each other and everything like that. Camarda has shared lots of Bengals posts on his Instagram story. So to me, I already think there's kind of special teams connection there between Jake Camarda and Evan McPherson. So to me, if we draft a punter, I think it's Camarda and not the San Diego State punter. To close out this Bengals mock draft, the first one here, I have them taking Ohio State running back Master Teague. Master Teague had a phenomenal pro day for the Buckeyes, and he's one of those guys who, if it wasn't for injuries, I think he would be pretty much a guarantee to be drafted. But now, with his injuries he's had throughout the past couple of seasons, it's not for sure that he's going to be drafted. His pro day definitely helped his case, but he's going to be a 7th round pick or undrafted free agent. And to me, I wouldn't mind getting a running back here to 6th or 7th round to possibly, get more running back help. In my opinion, Mixon's obviously our guy. Chris Evans, he's a running back too. I think he is definitely a running back too. Samaje Perine, in my opinion, needs to be cut. He would save us money if he got cut. I don't know why Zach Taylor loves Perine so much. But let's say if we had Joe Mixon, Chris Evans at number 2, we had Master Teague at number 3. I don't think that would be bad at all. And, gives us an extra body at running back. And I just really like this pick here. I think it makes a lot of sense if he's available here. I wouldn't be shocked in that trade back that I've mentioned several times if we were to maybe trade this pick basically just to get rid of it, because there's always a decent chance that your 7th round pick doesn't make the team. We have 2 of them, so I wouldn't be shocked if maybe we basically just gave this one away in a trade back with somebody here. But Master Teague and a couple other running backs here are like in the 6th, 7th rounds. I would really like. So that was my first Bengals mock draft. That was without trades. So let me know what you think of that one. And then here is my second one. So the Bengals, obviously, they had the 31st pick overall, second to last pick in the 1st round. So they have a trade here. They trade with the Houston Texans. The Bengals received the 37th pick overall, so they go back 6 spots. And they also received the Houston Texans 2023 second round pick. In this trade, the Houston Texans receive the Bengals' 1st round pick, 31st overall, and they also received the Bengals' 4th round pick, 136th pick overall this season. To me, when you move back 6 spots, when some of the guys who were available here, Tyler Linderbaum was available, David Ojabu, the edge rusher from Michigan, Kaiir Elam, the corner from Florida, all 3 of those guys were available. And to me, I thought it would be in the best interest for the Bengals if they decided to trade back. And, that's obviously what they did here. And they give up their 4th this year, but they get the Houston Texans 2nd for next season, which I think is major because the Houston Texans are one of the worst teams in the NFL. They are drafting 3rd this season. So you have a good chance to get maybe a top 5 pick in the 2nd round next season. There's a good chance we're going to be, in the playoffs and, deep in the playoffs. So we're probably going to have one of the last picks of the 2nd round. But if we get that Houston Texans 2nd round pick, we're going to have, towards the end of the 2nd and also towards the end of the 2nd as well. So we're getting some more draft capital in the next year's draft, which I don't think is bad. We're moving 6 spots, so we can still get our guy that we want. But we give them our 4th round pick this year. It's kind of towards the end of the 4th round, which to me, I think is a good trade for us. I mean, it's not like we're picking towards the early 4th, top 5, top 10 pick of the 4th round. It's towards the end of the 4th. And we're getting, like I said, a 2nd round pick next year for Houston. I really like this trade for us. And, with that trade back, like I said, we are picking 37th overall.
And to me, I feel like this is like amazing here for the Cincinnati Bengals. We traded back to 37. We get a really nice pick next year with the Houston Texans second round pick. And with our second round pick that we traded back with Houston, we end up still somehow managing to get Iowa center Tyler Linderbaum. And like I mentioned, Tyler Linderbaum, in my opinion, is the only offensive tackle, the only offensive lineman I want the Bengals taking here in the first round. Obviously, this is the second round with a trade back. I don't see him dropping this far at all. I wouldn't be shocked if he's already gone by 31st overall when the Bengals select. But he's the only offensive lineman I would want us to get. You know, Tyler Linderbaum could play center and Ted Karras could play left guard. You know, when the Bengals signed Ted Karras, the intentions were kind of looking like he was going to play center. But, you know, if we're able to get Tyler Linderbaum, Ted Karras can play left guard. You know, the majority of Ted Karras' snaps last season for New England was actually at left guard and not center. So he's already kind of playing a position he did this past year. Tyler Linderbaum, like I already mentioned, is the best interior offensive lineman in this draft. He's clearly far and away the best center in the draft. So to me, this is an amazing pick here for the Cincinnati Bengals. I would definitely say I don't even have to look at some of these other picks up to this point. That would definitely be the best value pick and the biggest steal that the Bengals were able to get Tyler Linderbaum here with the 37th pick overall. In the second round, we actually got another huge steal here, and this is another one of my favorite players in this draft. He's also another player from Conference USA. You know, Conference USA, not a big, conference in college football, but they have so many talented players in this draft. We took Reed Blakenship in the first draft. We take another player in the secondary here from Conference USA, and that's UTSA corner Tyreke Woolen. Tyreke Woolen, he is 6'4". He ran a 4.26 40-yard dash. He is going up draft boards so much. At this point, I think he's going to be gone here by 63. He has terrific wingspan, and he's 6'4". I mean, you look at some of these best receivers in the NFL. They are shorter than 6'4". It's crazy to me. You do not see a corner that tall in the NFL. I will say, Tyreke Woolen has a ton of potential, but he's only played corner for a couple of seasons. When he originally committed and stepped on campus at UTSA, he was originally a wide receiver. He's only played corner for a couple of years. That's kind of like the knock on him that, if people don't want Woolen, I can kind of get that. But to me, I think Woolen has a ton of potential. And when you look at this, corner group, if Awuzie, Hilton, Eli Apple go down, we don't have really much, depth at corner. So I think we can get some more corner help here. Wouldn't even be shocked if we took corner here in the first round. But, with our trade back and Linderbaum at 37, that's a no-brainer. You're running up to the podium for that. And you're still able to get a very nice corner in the draft by getting Tyreke Woolen, the corner from UTSA. As we continue here in the third round, I had them drafting a tight end. The first mock draft, I had them getting a tight end, and that was Jeremy Ruckert. This tight end is Isaiah Likely from Coastal Carolina. He averaged over 10 yards per catch last season with Coastal Carolina. Some people think he's a little bit overrated, and with him being overrated, I think he could drop to 95. I've seen some mock drafts him being in the late second, early third. And getting Likely here, some people like him more than Ruckert. And to me, if you're able to get a guy who, is one of the better tight ends in the league, you're already able to get Tyreke Woolen, who's absolute still at 63. You're able to get Tyler Linderbaum at 37. I mean, those are all pretty much, in my opinion, A-plus picks because those are all kind of best player available in team need. I always take best player available over a team need, but anytime you're able to get best player available and it's also a team need, that's a A-plus pick, in my opinion, 100% of the time. As we continue here, like I said, the Bengals do not have a fourth-round pick in this mock draft due to the Bengals trading back with the Houston Texans and receiving the Texans' second-round pick next season. So with their fifth-round pick, they take a Conference USA player here I absolutely love so much. That's Western Kentucky edge rusher DeAngelo Malone. DeAngelo Malone was somebody I was really wanting the Bengals to get last season, but he decided to stay for his final year with the Hilltoppers. And it's interesting because when you look at last year's edge class, DeAngelo Malone probably would have been like a sixth-round pick, maybe a seventh-round pick, because the edge class last season was one of the best we've ever seen. And, I think he made the smart decision here by returning to the Hilltoppers. Now he could be like a late 4th or 5th round pick. He is all over the field. He is a sack master for Western Kentucky. I would love this pick up here. Like I said, I would not mind us at all getting a little bit more edge help here, maybe in the 5th or 6th round. I feel like DeAngelo Malone would be that perfect guy for the Bengals here with the 174th pick overall. As we continue here in the 6th round, I have us taking a running back from UTSA, Sincere McCormick. Sincere McCormick is very, very underrated. In the 2020 season, I believe he was top 10 in rushing yards, averaging over 100 rushing yards a game. This past season, he was very, very good as well for the Roadrunners. And he's just one of those guys who, if he played at a bigger school like Ohio State or Alabama, he would probably be drafted in like the 3rd or 4th round because since he's playing at a small school at UTSA, he's kind of lower on people's big boards because he's not playing against these top quality schools. Sincere McCormick to me would be an amazing pick here with a 209th pick overall. And like I said, I want us taking a running back here in the 5th, 6th, or 7th rounds, and us cutting some IJP Ryan. So our trio running backs can be Mixon, Chris Evans, and whichever running back here we decide to take in the later rounds. Looking at these final 2 picks here, Jake Camarda, the punter from Georgia, was available again. I went ahead and took him because I feel like it's lots of people are talking about us taking a punter. Like I said, I would have no issue taking a punter in the 7th round. Anything earlier, I think is absolutely stupid, ridiculous, and not necessary. But here in the 7th, I would be content with taking a punter. And like I said, Camarda, the connection with McPherson, our kicker, I think it makes a lot of sense for us to maybe go after Jake Camarda if he's available here in the 7th round. And to cap it off with the final pick of this draft, 252nd pick overall, I honestly, I decided to take a Reed Blakenship again, the safety from Middle Tennessee. Like I said, if he's there in the 7th round, I'm taking him pretty much 100 out of 100 times. He's one of my favorite draft prospects in the draft, and I think he could add some much needed help to the safety group if one of these guys like Bates or Bell decides to go down. And like I said, Bell and Bates only have 1 year on their contracts left. So I wouldn't even be surprised if maybe we went safety earlier in the draft. Maybe get like Jalen Petrie, the safety from Baylor, if we traded back in the 2nd. Like I said, I had us trading back in the 2nd here, giving our 1st to someone else. With that 37th pick overall, we took Linderbaum. But if Linderbaum's gone, maybe we take Jalen Petrie, the safety from Alabama. Who knows? I mean, it is absolutely crazy that we are just 8 days away from the NFL draft. It's not even seemed real that it's just this close. This seems like it's one of the fastest draft seasons ever. That about does it for this video. Talking about 2 Bengals mock drafts, one with trades, one with not, and comparing the differences between the 2. If we would be better off trading back, or if we would be better off staying put at 31. Like I said, that about does it for this video. If you're new to the channel or if you've seen my videos before, make sure to like this video and subscribe to my channel. I would really, really appreciate it. Thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you all next time on the Sports Studio Hines Show.